so awesome, dude.
It's gonna be like tossing
I
into
have
a coin.
one. I have one, dude.
Let's have a look. Oh yeah! What a great album!
My word, I was not expecting this one once again, but. Hey dudes and dudettes, what is going on? Jonny Middleton here, and before I start this video, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who has congratulated me on passing my drive test the other day. Now, the levels of support that you guys have shown is just incredible. I cannot thank you guys and gals enough, you know. You have, like, I have the best friends, family, just people in general, you know. I love you, Gemma, all the way down. Boom. And we are finally here for episode 3 of mine and my awesome hard-rocking
Hello, I'm here.
amigo, Travis Ward, who just so happens to be stood in the corner whilst I was recording a little bit, and episode 3, dude. Yes, episode, it just came out of the shadows.
Like Cliff Richard.
Literally, as well as Hank Marvin.
Okay.
I knew we would be digressing once again, dude. It just happens every single time.
Tangents.
What can you say? We just can't get enough of these dang tangents, can we, dude? And yes, episode 3, everyone. Wow, can't believe it's been like 3 weeks since we started this brand new series, and
It is now, yes.
it's been going really well. We've had some great responses, I suppose.
Yes. Sure.
And I guess if we get more of these videos out there, we can like get a greater audience and hopefully more. I mean, if any, sorry, I'll let you out the speed.
Because, you know, we've got a wide variety of genres going into this, we're definitely going to get many audiences because people like different music from each other. So
this variety is the spice of life. Although I was saying to Travis earlier how I don't like too much variety when I was shopping yesterday. Thinking, oh, I should get Mars bars, Twixes, Milky Ways. There's too many great chocolates. I love chocolate. Chocolate's awesome. And as shown last week, everyone, we pulled another album, as quite literally, as he was saying, it's no longer a metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
It's an album that I was once again taken with an element of surprise, because I'm a noob like that, you see. And every album's a surprise because we never know what we're going to pick out, dude. So.
True that. And like over 60 albums to pull out, I think.
I'm hoping this time I can have like a very sort of vociferous response to the album play after the hat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping so. I guess let's wait and see. And yeah, seeing as actually Travito owns the album this week, everyone. Like, I don't actually own a physical copy of this album, so I think it's only right that he introduces the CD that we should be covering in our episode today.
So this is an album. This is an album
Take it
cover
away,
that
dude.
This is an album cover that is dynamic. This is an album cover that
And this time I
everyone's
have
seen.
a fizzy drink.
I mean, this is
a milkshake.
This is an album cover that everyone's seen. I mean, you might not even know the band, you'll recognise this album cover. And people might think, oh, why did you pick this album?
I was in the same boat, dude. I recognised Crypt. I thought, who the hell's that album by?
See, I think, you know, I mean, they have some pretty good albums. I mean, they've got 4 excellent albums, and it's interesting to compare one to the other because they're all great at what they do.
I never knew how many albums this band actually did because I had not researched them properly.
They have 4. So the other albums that they have is one called Loaded. There's one called White Heat, White Light.
Did Living After Midnight by Judas Priest?
No.
That song's probably afterwards, 80s I think.
So there's Loaded, there's
Midnight
White Heat, White Light, there's the band's self-titled album, and there's also...
This is partially self-titled, isn't it?
I guess, but it's a collaboration with a female artist, a German female artist, well, German-American female artist, and the album that we will be doing this week is The Velvet Underground in Nico.
Which is the, as Travis mentioned everyone, was the iconic album which features the banana, which was an Andy Warhol print, and Andy Warhol plays a big part on this release, wouldn't you say? He sort of became the band's manager in 1965.
Yeah, he met the band in 1965, and he's credited on the album as the producer, but it's debatable how much he was the producer.
There's a lot of controversy, although it is alleged that Tom Wilson, like, a member of the team who split for Columbia Records, like, he'd actually signed to this album's label which was released, which was Verve Records.
I mean, there's people credited, such John Cale's been credited, he's a member of the Velvet Underground is Lou Reed.
Was Tom Wilson, no, Tom Wilson credited John Cale and John Cale credited Tom Wilson.
Oh, I just knew that John Cale credited Tom Wilson. So we've got Lou Reed on...
So someone credited John Cale as the main musical direction source on this album.
Lou Reed is on lead vocals and
Lou
guitar.
R.I.P.
We have, indeed. We have John Cale on viola and bass.
And Sterling Morrison on bass too.
Indeed, and we've got Sterling Morrison who's on bass and rhythm guitars.
But doesn't John Cale play some experimental instruments as well? It's the piano and the viola.
Mm.
You may have already alluded to the viola.
Well, yeah, the viola. The cacophonous viola. And then we've got...
He plays a Celeste on the opening track.
Celeste. And we've got...
I think that's Cale.
Maureen Tucker on drums, who I think is English. I think she's English.
Unfortunately, I didn't research the place of birth of this individual.
And she's one of the surviving members of the Velvet Underground.
However, I know that Maureen Tucker's not actually the band's first drummer. He was actually a person called Angus McLeish, who left prior to the band's first thing because he was in it solely for the art. He didn't want any sort of exposure.
And
which is strange.
Other names who have been mentioned.
They're very anti-commercial.
Norman Dolph, he was credited. John
Carter.
Licata, he was also credited, but they're not credited on the album itself. They've just been nominated as names going into this album. But
I agree.
I see it as Tom Wilson as the main producing force. But then again,
well,
Andy Warhol.
Officially, dude, Andy Warhol and Tom Wilson produced the album, but Andy Warhol's sort of like a nominal producer, like he just sort of like the
he
band
has a more laid back go with the flow approach, I guess. Because then again, he doesn't
very laid back.
He doesn't know much about music producing in the first place.
It's more of an artist. All he has in there is in music, films, and theatre.
Well, and theatre.
Just general arts.
Just general art as a whole. And
I'm sure all you peeps have heard of Andy Warhol.
This gave Velvet Revolver their notoriety and laid back approach. I mean, a lot of these songs had already been written some in 1964, 65 before they met Warhol, and obviously they were re-recording stuff like that. I mean, there were tracks like Heroin and Waiting for My Man. They'd already been done.
There were 3 recording sessions for this album. I'm sure 2 recording sessions conducted in New York and in Hollywood.
April in New York, May I think was in Los Angeles.
I got this
in Hollywood, and November was in New York.
Yeah, because originally, dude, the band weren't intending to record in November, but the album had been delayed because you mentioned this in the car.
This album cover, it says in very small text next to the banana, it says peel slowly and see. And that was because when the album was first published,
peel slowly and see.
People who bought the LP were able to peel back the banana, and there would be a pink banana, just an actual banana underneath and stuff, but because of this, that was what delayed the recording, and also gave the opportunity to record the song Sunday Morning, which was produced by Tom Wilson.
And it's arguably the most well-known song this entire
and a lot more production went into this. Oh, definitely, it's more memorable because of the melodic, and it's less experimental.
And as well as back at your point, dude, like you said about the production, I heard this song was like a much more polished song than the rest of the tracks.
Yeah,
but I can't really tell much of a difference. That's Wikipedia for you. We need to start using better sources.
I guess there's I do use better sources.
Wikipedia is just like Wikipedia is like the fountain of knowledge, and we're we're the ladles. We basically stick our head in the water.
There's many sources. I have my own sources.
I have a weird mind full of strange and wonderful metaphors.
And I guess and so I mean because the album didn't sell very well when it first came out. It's
considered a commercial and critical film. So I know in the series, we look at albums that are being regarded critically and commercial, but this album actually wasn't received well until a decade after its release.
When it was released in 1967, it was in the lower half of the Billboard 200, 150 and below.
It didn't really receive much exposure from Verve Records. No, they didn't really promote the album.
See, when Warhol was helping to produce the album, it was turned down by Columbia Records and also Atlantic Records,
as well as Elektra Records. I always wondered about Elektra Records. It's Kill 'Em All by Metallica, a thrash metal was released on that label. Maybe the Velvets were aiming for labels that were just out of their sort of musical range.
16 years later, Kill 'Em All as well.
1983.
Yeah.
My maths is terrible, dude. I'm gonna go with your assumption 16 years.
Okay. And who was the guy who moved to Verve Records from Columbia Records?
Tom Wilson, dude.
Was it Tom Wilson himself? Yeah, and so he's the one who...
His name sort of backs up the rock and roll tendencies on this album at times. I was like Tom Sawyer. That could be Tom Sawyer.
What, by Rush?
Yes, good song. That was that book, that character.
Yeah. And so this album didn't really... it's interesting to say the people who did listen to this album back in 1967 were probably a small family or cult of underground rock.
This album didn't receive, as well as not much exposure, didn't receive many reviews either.
It's because of the subject choice, I guess, throughout this album. There's a lot of drug focus, there's a lot of...
S&M.
Yeah, sadomasochism.
Not the Rihanna song. We're not going there.
Oh, and there's like BDSM, there's prostitution, there's a bit of like I mean, when you think of 1967.
Do you want to mention the S&M incorporation, Andy Warhol's exploding plastic inevitable?
Oh yeah, this is when they started recording the album. They were on tour.
It was where like the band like first developed their relationship with like the German singer-songwriter Nico, who performed chanteuse, which is a French word for singing. You can certainly tell their vocals do sound very French.
Very unique vocal styling, I feel.
It certainly has like an extra. It adds to the diversity of the album. We'll get into whether that's a good thing or a bad thing.
So
she features on 3 songs and provides backing vocals on the first song the album do this, which is called Sunday Morning, which apparently was written on a Sunday morning, like 6 AM or something.
Was it? I did not know that.
Apparently.
And so, I mean...
If memory serves me right.
And because of this is 1967, I mean, who's the biggest band by this point?
Beatles.
The Beatles. And Beatles, I mean, I guess by this point they have written some very interesting music, especially...
How did they release Rubber Soul or Revolver?
Rubber Soul was 1965, quote me if I'm wrong, it could be 65, 66, but I mean, by this time, Rubber Soul was out, Revolver was out, and I think... Help's not. Yeah, but Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band was also out. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts...
I think Sgt. Pepper's was like 1968.
Was it? Okay.
I think
so 67's Revolver. Whatever. So, I mean, this is...
When did Help come out?
Help was before Rubber Soul. I think that was the album before.
64 could be. But it's these songs are written.
So,
this album.
When we get to Rubber Soul, that's some more experimental. We've got like sitars being used and more...
Don't get too much Maestro.
I guess.
Although
more interesting guitars.
Album.
Yeah. More interesting... like instruments, more interesting themes being used by the Beatles, but I mean people play the Beatles, whatever. And so
this album also showcased use of alternate tunings, which is something endorsed by Lou Reed and John Cale. Because we were saying, dude, like in the sound gallery, how like Black Sabbath, like the first band to experiment with alternate tunings.
Oh, we did, yes.
And then we discovered this thing and thought, oh crap, we've got our facts.
We've got one semitone down tunings. We've
whole
got
step down.
Whole step down tunings.
What the hell's a semitone?
I think that's just half a step down. I think.
Half a step down tune.
But and
sharp.
And then we've got
about the ostrich tune.
Ostrich tune. You see, every string would be D, but some strings are down tuned, some strings are up tuned. So
very complicated, like
and
guitar tunings.
And that definitely stands out. That guitar look on these
Altamara's Passes.
Yeah, stuff like
that. Which song that features Nico. And all together, everyone, there are 11 tracks on the song, dude.
I just wanted to say about because of the subject choice back in 1967. No one had done it, and so everybody thought it was risky. But the point is, it was...
Are we talking about the style of music here or the lyrics?
I'm talking about the lyrics again. I just wanted to, like...
The album was too daring, that's why it wasn't played on commercial radio. And underground radio was sort of like a very little entity.
I mean, there was no shock value intended. It was like a gritty subject mixed in with some rock and roll. I mean, Lou Reed said, like, you know, he was taking some interesting... books and topics, and then like rock and roll was a bonus. I mean, people read it, and so
why not listen to it? You get rock and roll, you get awesome themes.
Exactly.
You see, like in society, there's like a secret sexual subculture in the 60s, wasn't there?
Definitely.
Hence where like the Velvet Underground got their name from, because their name actually emanated from a book of the same name, which like sort of tackled that theme. Because very previously the band, with the exception of Maureen Tucker, who replaced Angus McLeish, obviously. They've been known as the Warlocks and the Falling Spikes.
I think this is very...
Which would you say is the better name out of the three, dude?
Warlocks and the Falling Spikes.
I like the Warlocks. It's very... Oh, that's more like Viking metal. The Warlocks.
Wasn't there a WWF tag team called the Warlocks?
I have no idea.
I don't know, but it just makes me think
of
something more metal. But like this album I like because I think 1965 you've got the acid wave, 1969 you've got Woodstock, and so you've got...
Acid.
Yeah.
Everyone took acid in the 60s.
And so we got
65
in the 60s. Acid wave. 69 we've got Woodstock. 67 we've got the Velvet Underground and Nico. And very experimental.
And we're also going to mention, weren't we, like the influence of psychedelic rock for other artists such as Cream and Jimi Hendrix.
Oh yeah, and
Pink Floyd.
Frank Zappa and everything. Yeah.
Frank Zappa's a legend.
I feel like this album's also influenced genres such as, but like, it's got so many genres, like, so many underground genres.
Arts rock and proto-punk.
And it helped bring up other underground genres.
Arts rock was later experimented on a recent album which featured Lou Reed called Lulu, which featured a collaboration with Metallica.
And it's not very highly rated
double
at
disc.
all. It's not very highly rated at all. I like Ice Honey, that's a good song. But
I have never listened to it.
It's to say this was noticed a decade later. It's very suitable for punk, seeing it's 1977. Very suitable for punk.
That was like the part of the wave of punk. I'm really glad that people started paying attention more to this album. To be honest, dude, it's just rightfully revered as like, you know, and
I mean, it's in like
critical acclaim.
Rolling Stone's one of their top 500 lists. This is number 30. So I mean,
13, I think.
30.
Oh, should I got 30?
Yeah.
I got 13.
Oh well, it's very.
Well, really,
there's a couple of different lists as well, which are very high.
I think mine was like 500.
This was just rock albums.
I think mine was like songs.
Ah, okay. But there's also influential albums that's in the top
variety.
lists. And so you see, you look at reviews now, and they're like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 5-star, positive
It's
reviews.
Like Beatles
and
album.
it makes me think, when did they review this album?
Like a decade. It was like some dude
It was
called like
either
Robert
when
Christ
it was brought out again in 2002, perhaps, because it's been reissued many times.
Reviewer.
Mm.
And he basically like notably influenced like obviously like daring lyrical themes and genres of music not previously been explored, such as the genres the psychedelic rock, art rock, and proto-punk, which was a genre in the 1960s which influenced the way the punk.
Well, it's because there wasn't much.
Arguably.
Also, by this time, there wasn't much underground rock radio stations, stuff like that.
There wasn't, no, which probably led to the album's lack of exposure upon its initial release. Wasn't really noticed until like a decade later when like underground radio really started to take off a lot more.
Indeed. I mean,
I hope.
I mean, today it was even a controversial album back in 2011 because the Warhol Foundation sold the album artwork to a company to use it on iPhone
and iPad cases.
Yeah, and I think it was definitely Lou Reed. And I don't know if
John Cale did.
John Cale, I think if he was alive, I don't know which one was alive.
It's actually spelled C-A-L-E as opposed to Cahill, isn't it? It's not. It's Cale, not Cahill.
C-A-L-E. Yeah, and so
We're not being lazy. Don't worry.
They took him to court. And they won, and so it came to a decision like they'll not sue each other anymore, and they'll just
I mean,
this is the right of the Velvet Underground.
Like that trial lasted from like January 2012 to like May 2013. It was like over a year to sort out a little issue of like a banana.
It's been called one of the most prophetic rock albums.
It's been called one of the most pathetic rock albums.
Prophetic. As a prophet. That's what I'm trying to say. Prophetic. Prophetic.
How did
I won the spelling bee. Not very long after, because in 1967, Warhol was kicked out of the band.
As well as
Nico was forced out of a band, and she later on produced her album in the same year, Chelsea Girl, which has 5 Velvet Underground performing songs on it, and was
featured
also
on one of the reissue box sets, dude.
No, the 45th anniversary. This is the 45th anniversary of the album.
That's like the standard edition.
Standard edition.
You probably have to fork out about 20 quid more for the bumper 6 disc edition.
A lot more. It's one of those like.
It's not worth it, in my opinion.
Spend a lot of.
Unless you're
it's like a collector.
Unless you're a Velvet's Underground super fan. When I first heard this song, dude, the song "No Surprises" by Radiohead immediately came to my mind.
Especially it's because of the
lullaby.
Yeah, it's like the xylophone at the beginning gives the approach of the high-pitched guitar playing on No Surprises.
Can you remember that Royal Family episode, dude, where like Dave's singing that, humming "No Surprises" to Baby David? That is so cool.
Oh, it's because it's also on the episode when she's going to give birth.
Yes,
yeah, he's playing on that mixtape or something. It's like Jim sat with Denise. Is it Denise?
Yeah, it's like
very emotional end to it.
Because I know like the Royal Family started in 1998, so OK Computer would have been quite big at this time.
It's like when Oasis is big. It's like a Britpop, like end of Britpop era.
There's been some other ones, maybe some latest references in Royal Family as well.
Oh, it's the theme tune.
Half the world away. Oh, yeah. How can I forget about the biggest and latest reference to them all?
From the B-side album.
Called The Master Plan. I've never heard it all the way through.
With this, I find this track a lot different, I guess.
And as well, dude, this song was actually released as a double A side along with the track Femme Fatale.
Yeah, there's 2 singles released which are both double-sided.
Please tell me how to pronounce Femme Fatale.
Femme Fatale, I think. It's Femme, it's definitely, it's got to be Femme.
Sounds French, probably it's places like Nico featured on it.
And so I got this like relaxing, dreamy intro, but then there's also this funky bass playing behind the xylophones.
For me, dude, it's kind of hard to tell that it's bass or guitar. To play Lou Reed's guitars, it's very...
I think it's bass. But I know what you mean with like the style they play guitar and that clean...
It could have been John Cale or Sterling Morrison playing it on that bass.
It would have been Sterling Morrison, I think. But the bass part would have been John Cale. But,
does he play Celeste on the song, did John Cale?
I'm not sure. I didn't... You see, you told me that, I didn't know. But like...
Oh, no, it was the final song recorded for the album in New York in November 1966.
See, it's like when they had that time, Andy Warhol was like, recording of a song, and so they wrote and recorded Sunday Morning. And see, Lou Reed vocals is a bit interesting on this. It's more like a simple melodic for Lou Reed.
It's very dreamy, dude, like what you mentioned.
It's not like... Because a lot of stuff is like Lou Reed more narrative, so to speak, especially in the Lulu album.
It's very huge on like the spoken word sort of style.
Very. You know when he said like he'll make a song from a D chord, he's still a very experimental musician.
I agree. It certainly pushes convention.
That was what was interesting when I was like researching this about all the tunings and stuff.
But the thing is, dude, do you know where like they're saying like the words the song Sunday morning? Like I know Nico provides like backing vocals on the
I
song.
don't notice it, to be honest.
It's hard to tell. It's like Lou Reed or Nico. So it sounds very female.
Yeah,
Like, again, it doesn't.
I think it's Lou Reed. I just I didn't even realise that Nico was on this one.
Sort of backing up your theory that it's a very experimental music shit then gone for.
It's a more psychedelic song as well, just for its like dreamy aura that's around it, and then the solo is pretty cool.
I think the psychedelic edge really starts where it's had later
and then
on.
yeah, the like tone and clean guitar stanza as well, and it kicks in solo because you don't hear much guitar building up to it.
And what is interesting about the songs on the sound mode, basically they have like a very simple song structure. I mean, the song's like pretty short, it's about 3 minutes.
Yeah, and it's got there's no thing. It's like in and out sort of thing from verse to chorus.
It's the standard typical verse chorus structure, with the exception of the solo maybe.
Yeah, that's like more of a later half, of like finishing it off.
I'd agree, most certainly.
I don't know. It's
what are your general thoughts to this song, dude?
It's not one of my favourite on the album, I will admit.
I agree, there are better.
I just think it's more memorable, it's more well known because it's easier listening than later on tracks, I guess.
It was certainly one of the Velvet Underground's biggest singles.
This is a more Beatles rock and roll sort of track.
It starts with a very thumping.
It's like the Beatles went American, I'd say.
Maureen Tucker plays tambourine on this song, dude.
Oh yeah.
The drummer, the percussion.
I'd say she's more of a percussionist than a drummer with all the different styles and instruments she's using.
She certainly uses much more experimental drum styles. I mean, apparently she turned a bass drum on her head, dude. Used mallets instead of drumsticks on occasion. Like play the drums.
Use mallets, Jesus.
Well, I said Eustace.
I'm guessing like.
Where's my mallet?
I wouldn't say the proper mallet stuff, would they? They're like more like in a style of same shape of a mallet.
I hope she'd hit the drums and not fuck with it. Imagine how big those things are, like proper mallets, like a right bang on the drum, like boom.
Well, I've been again saying that the drums do dominate this song when it starts. There's like there's drums stand out when it's building up.
I'd say in the song, there's a later song like the drums really become more prevalent towards the end, dude.
Oh yeah, well, towards the end perhaps. Maybe throughout the song except
well, get to the story of said song. And
this song's drugs themed as well.
It's about a dude like purchasing like $26 worth of heroin in New York City and is waiting for the man, which is a drug dealer.
Yeah.
It's like Lou Reed actually says I'm waiting for my man. This dude, and the song's actually called I'm waiting for the man. I think it was a live version where Lou Reed sang I'm waiting for the man as opposed to my man. But on the sound version, it's my man.
Yeah, so he's waiting for his drug dealer.
Yes, basically.
Because I mean, Lou Reed's from New York, isn't he?
I know he's American.
And I think he's from New York because that's where that university was. Because Lou Reed studied a BA in English at a very prestigious university in New York.
I'm guessing like the band may have relocated to New York when they first got in touch with Andy Warhol. Because I know Andy Warhol's based in New York with his Factory. I mean, there's some songs which mention the Factory. As well as the Exploding Plastic Inevitable multimedia show, which features performances from members of his Factory.
I mean,
just said Factory once again.
And this song's got the sort of similar structure to Sunday Morning. It's nothing too crazy.
It's a bit different.
Yeah,
that piano's a bit crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I think piano's Lou Reed actually recorded the piano.
I think it's John Cale did on piano.
Okay.
According to Wikipedia, I have a description for this piano piece. It is called. What's it called now? Oh, it's pounding percussive rock and roll barrel house style piano from John Cale.
Okay.
I'd say this track has a lot more faster tempo than Sunday Morning too.
I feel that. I just when I listened to it, I felt it got a bit louder as well. I don't know if that's just me.
The piano at the start still very loud. Louis' vocals sound different on the song to what they do on Sunday Morning.
It's more.
Well, you don't get Nico in the background.
This one's more narrative than singing, I guess. Well, no.
I put down more talking, but they have more melody.
It's more. His voice is. I mean, it's more like I said, melodic in Sunday Morning. It's a lot softer.
I'd agree.
This one's more upbeat with the rock and roll of the music.
I'm sure some using multi-layered guitars in here too, doing like bits of like little changes in guitars to keep the song fresh. Because as we were saying, there isn't like much general diversity on the songs that sound. Just like when you put the album together as a whole, that's what like the diversity first starts to enter. Which is probably not my most favourite song on the album, everyone. It's the short song like Sunday Morning.
I find this track
bit dull.
I don't. It's because Nico's got that like more drony sort of voice, but I think it's more of a dreamy sort of song.
Because this is the first song the album is like Nico features.
Yeah, this is where she first appears. Yeah, she's on the lead vocals, and the rest of the band appear in a backing sort of vocals when they say "Femme Fatale."
It's just those backing vocals. I find them a bit dull. Like "Femme Fatale."
I think I said it's got an ongoing vibe. This song, there's no like stopping in it.
There's not much general diversity going on. It's fairly straightforward song.
It's a more. It's more down than previous songs, especially
That's
when it
probably why I
transcends from
thought-
I'm Waiting for the
the
Man.
dull influence in there.
I guess it refers back to the more psychedelic experiment, like sort of vibe.
I struggle to define
like Sunday morning sort
I
of stuff.
struggle to define what psychedelia actually means. Dude. It's kind of hard. It's a very sort of divisive, opinion-based music genre.
Oh yes, it's one of the more creative. Okay, this one definitely got a psychedelic edge to it.
The use of a special Lou Reed guitar string called the ostrich guitar,
Which apparently he said he created. It's which I've already mentioned with
a short-lived project called the Primitives.
And it's got the cacophonous viola which dominates this track because of how like it's like louder than all the other instruments.
It sounds like a cat being strangled. Although there's another song, the N12 saying now do so like John Kelly's the viola, it sounds like a cat being strangled.
Yeah,
you were saying it's very abrasive on your ears as well. What's it do?
Oh yeah,
that final song.
Listening to this album.
Penultimate track.
Listen to this album with the speakers on louder, with when the viola comes in, it's very striking.
I'd have got a Dark Side of the Moon time. Jesus.
This song just kicks in straight away. There's no build up to it at all.
I agree.
And is
this one of the songs?
It's a very
dude,
favourable song.
Would you say this song's dude like is much different to the style explored in Femme Fatale or Sunday Morning?
Oh yeah, definitely. This song's also the BDSM song.
BDSM song. Please elaborate.
Oh, BDSM's like S&M.
Oh,
it's based. Yeah, Venus in Furs is based off the 19th century novel, and
Leopold von Sacher-Masoch, which is where the term masochism is derived from.
And so yeah, this is one of those interesting
it's
things that the band was.
Submission, very sexual.
Yeah,
oriented.
BDSM.
The secret sexual undercurrent of the 1960s.
See, I don't know how many bands were doing stuff like that. So
it's very controversial at the time. It was groundbreaking. Probably why this album's been like probably revered being influential, but lyrically.
And then it just refers back
especially
to
lyrically.
People reading this 19th century novel. So why can't you listen to the song?
I agree. Maybe it's because like it's not really explored in music so far. People didn't know how to take it. I see what I did there. People didn't know how to take it.
I feel like maybe it's got some like country vibe. Perhaps like it's like that. With a shiny shine, it's like I don't know. Yeah, it's like a country violin sort of.
I like the triumphant sound and instrumentation. There's a song in it. It reminds me of a cross between like the Bangles, which is called "Walk Like an Egyptian."
Oh right, yeah.
And also the Millennium Prayer by Cliff Richard. There's a song that's like combined.
Oh, Millennium Prayer, Jesus.
Which one of my most favourite songs? It's very upbeat. That first glimpse of the rock and
it's
roll.
It's got that 60s sort of rock and roll vibe, and it's also one of the
rock and roll idiot. I'm trying to combine psychedelia and rock and roll.
Rock and roll, and it's one of those drug songs.
Jet and the Black Hearts.
Oh yeah, no, that was the 70s, though, wasn't it? The 80s, Joe Jet.
Well,
no, it's the 70s.
I was riding on the rock and roll reference.
Oh, okay, that's not the era. But this is also a drug song. It was written on the back of an envelope. And it's like, you know, somebody trying to find drugs in an area or something. And there's some specific names, like
there's some references to New York Union Square and 47th Street.
C6 Sarah and what I can only read as Margarita Passion or something. These are some of the people and they're taking drugs or looking for drugs. It's not spelled like Margarita, but how it's spelled, that's how I feel like
I still like Olive Wilson also. I was like Pina Colada.
Yeah, it's probably Pina Colada. Well, then if it's Derek Trotter, he's got many of an interesting drink concoction.
This song has a guitar solo.
Oh, it's Mora. I'm going to use the word psychedelic again.
Wait a minute, there's a song that's very prominent for Louis' guitar solo. It could have been Venus in Furs or it could have been Run Run Run.
Well, this one's quite prominent. And it's also got some more
group
vocals as well.
Is it that squeaky one? That squeaky sort of guitar solo. It's very like... It's like all the parts like very clogged down. Could this be the song?
I do think it was very squeaky. I just think it fits in with
not like
rock and roll.
Not like the intro to Forces Over the Mountain then, dude. That's very squeaky.
Yeah.
How about Mike Patton? Yeah, that's very squeaky too.
Oh, like early Mike Patton.
Faith No More.
Like the first album. Well, not the first Mike Patton album, Real Thing, which we've already talked about.
Being the first Faith No More album, not Mike Patton album.
I thought it
that's Mike Patton did a solo album called Real Thing too.
No, I thought there was an album before Real Thing.
The word it just featured
I said the first Mike Patton album with Faith No More.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I just listened to the first looking Mike Patton solo album. And this sounds more like a bluesy touch to the song as well, I think, dude. I think like that whole like driving like rock and roll feel.
Yeah, it's got that I'm waiting for the man sort of feel.
And there's those the show's female vocals on the song the same Run Run Run. I don't think it's Nika because she doesn't feature on the song.
That's why I say it was group vocals. I thought it was just of the members like Sterling Morrison.
Could be Maureen Tucker then.
I know it's still.
It sounds very female-like. If Nico is okay, who's this female? Could be one of Andy Warhol's prostitutes. Sorry, Patch remembers. S&M.
Okay, and then
very upbeat and melodic. One of my most favourite songs on the album.
Okay.
Which is the second song on the album ever to feature Nico on lead vocals again.
And it's got like a nice piano intro as well. I think it's the track piano one, isn't it? Like
is it the one with the paper clips?
It could no, it's not.
It is.
Oh yeah, it is. It's the one. This is a song.
It's called Prepared Piano.
Prepared Piano is like a tack piano. It's where you can do it with
piano.
You can do it with guitars as well. It's where they use paper clips, but it can use different like things to put on or in between strings to change the tonality.
Bit kinky.
Yeah. To change the
alluded to the sexual references once again.
Change the tone and alter the sound of the piano. And it's like guitars, I've seen pictures of them like guitars you feel like, I guess you could use a bunch of capos and put different clips on strings and...
capos, because to be awful. Can you actually use like 2 capos at once on a guitar, dude?
Yeah.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah,
that'd be weird.
Like, you see people like experiment with acoustic
guitars. Just put one on every fret.
Well, like classical or acoustic guitars, you can... They might put one like for the top 4 strings higher up and then the lower strings lower down.
Oh, I don't know.
And this also has the ostrich the fretless guitar used on it, more experimentation. The viola's used dominantly on this.
So based on this song, do you get all the experimental instruments used?
It's got double-tracked vocals as well.
Ah.
With the wavy Nico vocals, and it's also this song is to do with the plastic.
Yeah, because I know like Femme Fatale and the Altamara's Parties, like 2 out of 3 Nico songs feature songs that were basically
this song
they don't explore such dark themes, much more upbeat.
No, this song's this one written about the Eddie? Whatever she's called.
I think that was Femme Fatale.
Okay, so this one's just based off of Lou Reed. Like,
Lou Reed's observation of people who worked for Andy Warhol at the factory. Yeah. Andy Warhol's New York City studio.
Yeah. It's like Lou Reed's perception of what was going on.
I love this song too.
One of my favourites.
Is it really necessary to do that for this song, dude? Is it really a rock and roll sort of song?
No, not for Velvet Underground.
I like the whole like rock and roll, like 60s sort of guitar
Heroin
sound.
by Name by Nature, basically. This is song.
It's about heroin.
About taking heroin. It's more of a narrative vocals as well.
Heroin use and abuse.
Lou Reed talking about taking it, talking about the effects and his experiences with, not him personally, might be, I don't know, but with heroin. Yeah. I mean, you've got your soft intro, and the thing about this song, it's
one of the band's most celebrated compositions, having listed number 455 Rolling Stone magazine's list of the 500 greatest songs of all time. And I have no idea when that poll was conducted.
It's got a use of a crescendo where you've got your soft like intro, and then it rises up in the tempo to the like again the effects of the heroin building up in something.
Is it when like
leaves you on the edge of your seat when you listen to it? Definitely.
Is it like you start off on like you start a trip and like you really like the plateau of the?
I wouldn't say. But like when the heroin kicks in,
it's when you're really flying high again.
Well, yeah, I got it works. But then like, and that keeps happening back and forth. But then like in the later half of the song, it really kicks in. And then there's this funny thing where Maureen Tucker she's pounding on the drums when it's like building up, and then she stops because it was so loud she couldn't hear anything. And when she stopped, she thought
the rest of the band
would stop, but they carry on. So it's like. This song's about 7 minutes
like just
plus.
Basically like ignoring it, like Maureen, stop.
I think they were just so into it. So it was like 7 minutes plus.
Probably nobody looks at the drummer on stage, look at him, probably in front of him. The drummer's at the back, he's like.
Very sexist of you.
Well, most drummers are males.
I don't know. It's like 6:30 or something when it gets in. She stops. It stops for a couple of seconds, and she like hits a couple of notes and it finishes.
I wasn't able to hear this on the mix, dude. It's very low in the mix. So they probably like did some like production techniques, so edit it out a bit.
Fine.
And what I was saying, dude, is basically like this song.
It's got arpeggios and stuff as well.
It's the second longest song on the album, clocking at like 7 minutes.
Yeah.
It's the first song on side B of the vinyl version.
Which
has the peel slowly.
Well, I was just saying it's got chords and arpeggios, and that's just where notes are playing along with chords and stuff, which is a bit of an interesting mix. Seeing you've got 2 guitars and stuff.
My mind has been blown. Arpeggios, chord sequences. And what I was saying, dude, basically like, how this song's like 7 minutes, it's very tolerable because like I was saying, most of these songs they have a very simple structure and add to diversity. It's not like listening to like a tool.
See, this song's very simple. It's just with the tempo changing.
It's sort of, I mean, if you had like a song like a medium-sized tempo, it's good. Like you mentioned the crescendo, weren't you, dude? It's good. It builds up.
I don't think I pronounced it like that.
Very sort of 60s production of the guitars, as aforementioned. There she goes. It's not that song, by the way. Who actually sung that song, dude? There she goes. Is that the Waz or the LAs? Because I know they only made one album, the LAs.
There she goes again. Probably the LAs.
Yeah, the LAs. I like that song though. They only have one album, Smart together. And one of the guitarists in this song,
It's
everybody.
very soft rock.
This like one of the guitarists.
Oh, this has got like the backing vocals as well from other members. The higher.
Oh yeah, about the backing vocals on it. Very.
Yeah.
It sounds like inhaling helium. Male voices. And one of the guitarist was basically like, take from Marvin Gaye track, which is called Hitchhike. However, it's more like the Rolling Stones version.
I get a very Rolling Stones vibe with the guitars in this song.
I have not listened to much Rolling Stones. I own a Stones t-shirt and I've only heard probably like one or two songs.
Is that Paint It Black and Satisfaction?
Yeah.
Sorry,
brackets I can't get now.
Whatever. You know.
I know there's some more. I know there's Gimme Shelter. I know there's Simply for the Devil.
And it's
Shoot Me Down in Flames for not hearing more Stones songs. I'm sorry.
I just got a more bluesy feel as well later on in the track with the guitars. I forgot I had that written.
I think that's probably why I enjoyed like the late Harper sound, because it's more like rock and roll as opposed to this like weird viola.
And then the tempo really picks up just before it finishes in like the last couple of seconds.
I agree. I also got much more faster too, and that was like a nice little bit of diversity, like little change, like the guitar melodies, and really cool sounding song in general. There she goes again. Although there's a bit of a difference to like listening to the album on my laptop and you just stick it in your CD player, which is probably about like an hour ago.
Different quality.
If it's game around, dude. So.
Different quality.
The final song of the album, everyone's featuring Nico and lead vocals.
Indeed. It's not one of your favourites, is it?
Nah, I'd agree. Like the tracks 9 and 10 are considered about filler because they're like little short little songs. I see them as like little jams.
This is the track that's inspired by Nico because she
I
said
see it filling up time on the album. Because obviously you could get to 80 minutes on this album this time.
It's alright. It's not one of my favourites on the album.
That's what that's. Do you know on vinyls?
Yeah.
Like I get 80 minutes on a CD max. Well, it's like the max could get like a side of a vinyl.
No, I don't know. It's because
that's a question that could answer for you.
You know, well, vinyls have two sides, obviously, so that you don't get that much.
You get
like, let's say, like the new Mastodon album.
Yes.
Right, I've mentioned the third video now. Once we're on the sub, that's a 2 vinyl if you ordered it because it's got side A, side B, side C, side D. So they don't have as much length as a CD. That's why vinyls were first.
I see. Because I was like the double albums.
That's why CDs were very revolutionary. Is that everything on one disc and it's small disc and it's all portable and everything.
Do you know like the double albums like Annas do? Say like the White album or like...
Exactly, there would have been so many vinyls for that one. See, now it's just 2 discs.
That's
why there's loads of sides to it. It's like side on side, 2 sides. Like there's different parts of the White album.
Because these like 4 vinyls like quite big in comparison to like the standard 2? Because you get
no, it's just same size vinyl. It's just
there's just 2 of them as opposed to 1.
Yeah. So Album Mirror is just
simple maths.
It's more delicate vocals. It's more psychedelic. It's just Nico.
And you know how I mentioned like the rocky relationship, like because obviously Nico's, as I mentioned, was later evicted from the band.
Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned that we just went off on one, but like this song, Nico inspired. She said it to Lou Reed, "I'll be a mirror," and that's where Lou Reed took it and made it. So
I think she fancied him, dude.
I know.
She had sexual. You said she slept with 2 of them.
Yeah, I think so, and then like ditched them.
Hard. Slip.
60s. And then that's pretty much.
It's a time of peace, love, and sexual intercourse.
Make love, not war.
But I was saying, dude, like basically how like the band like broke Nico into tears because she like wouldn't sing the song right.
Yeah, we were.
I just see it as filler.
Crap. It's more. This is like one of the most. I mean, you've got genres like garage, blues, and stuff like that. But this is more experimentation.
Because you're alluding to like the garage rock tendencies on the sound, as opposed to like the art rock side.
I think this one helped like create all the garage rock sort of bands that were to come afterwards. But like
Dave Grohl has history of recording in his garage for the Foo Fighters, dude. Recorded Wasting Light there.
Oh, of course, yeah, in the studio.
That's Studio 606.
So there's like hissing in this song from John Cale, so he hisses into the mic. Everything John Cale does that's experimental.
That's diversity
more
to the album.
He just like makes it loud on this album. And Lou's voice stands out a lot more on this album as well, on this track as well, and the viola dominates on this album.
Because don't
a lot of feedback.
The vocals and like the hissing like alternate, dude. Like you get one spurt of vocals, they get one spurt of hissing, and
Yeah, it's like back and forth.
And is this the song where you said the viola was very braced on your ears?
No, well, it's one of them, but I was going to say European Sun was what stood out more with
Which is the
viola.
Which is the final Saxophone list, this little sneaker brody.
And then, I mean, this song, I said it had...
Let's have use John Cale's viola.
I said it had dissonance in it. It's where it's not got one set tempo, but it tries...
I read that word on Wikipedia. What the hell's that mean?
It's a very unstable song, like, because it's like going back and forth from everything. It's got no specific tempo, and it's very unstable, so it tries to work up to it and never
Does it have a conventional chorus?
No.
Is it a very simple song structure?
No.
Does it flow well? Does the song flow well?
I like it.
Is it like, it's very short? Costs about 2 minutes.
No, 3 minutes 12.
It says the times at the back of the CD, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, when I was writing my notes list for you, I was happy when I saw I'll Be Honoured and the Black Angels Death song, because basically a very short song to get the notes written quickly. And this was the song where like the band first encountered Andy Warhol, because apparently like the Cafe Bizarre had been playing it. They didn't want the band to play it anymore, but they played like an extended version.
Yeah, they kept playing loads of random versions, and then like Andy Warhol approached them when the last time they should have played it, and
he became their manager.
Yeah, which is very fortunate.
Promoted their
Imagine if he'd not approached them.
It could have been a hell of it certainly wouldn't have had Nico, because he was suggested by Andy Warhol. It got...
It might have had Velvet Underground.
That's a debate that could rage on. It's the longest song on the album, clocking at just 7 minutes and something, a few more seconds than...
7 minutes 47, it's like 30 seconds more.
What's the other long song on the album, dude? I forget.
It was Heroin.
Heroin, that's the one.
Yeah, it's like
I
30
prefer Heroin
seconds
to this
longer.
song. European Sun, it's a tribute to Delmar Schwartz, who was a literary mentor of Lou Reed.
And
It
because...
was just a tribute, it didn't have many like lyrics.
It's because they didn't like rock and roll lyrics. And so you get like 2 verses of rock and roll lyrics over a Chuck Berry riff, apparently. It was very big at this time.
According to Wikipedia, was Chuck Berry more prominent in the 50s, dude?
Oh yeah, but because he was so prominent in the 50s, he's big now.
It sort of fits like the next era.
And this is what first, and then it just goes into a massive experimental improv with loud viola.
Did you know that on early pressings of this album, this song was actually listed as European Sun to Delmar Schwartz?
I guess that works. Yeah, I've not seen that actually.
Yes, it's basically. Then do you remember that crash? Like it's
John Cale. Because that's what happens. It starts off. Oh yeah, it's like
very Mick Foley like
plates and stuff. ECW and
Extreme.
And so it starts off with the verses, and then like there's just this crashing sound, then all the improv comes.
Can you imagine listening to that on loud volume?
It was terrible. It was like I was not ready for it.
I guess that's what made it sound very revolutionary, yeah. Very revolutionary, the use of experimentation, the forms of instrumentation and weird sounds, audio feedback and hissing, dissonance.
It's a bit like some stuff that's on...
Dissident Deceiver.
Stuff that's on Piper at the Gates of Dawn. Like they've got some like...
Which was a fellow psychedelic rock album in 1967.
It's like Syd Barrett or Roger Waters doing, and there's later on tracks where Roger Waters
it was the only Pink Floyd album dude to prominently feature Syd Barrett on vocals.
Prominently, yeah.
Because really then drugs sort of took his mind.
Indeed. And so
but that's another story.
Yeah. So that was the Velvet Underground and Nico. I highly rate this album. I mean, it's debatable which album's better than the others because White Heat likes its own thing, and Velvet Underground self-title's got some great tracks like.
So like the album afterwards. What I basically wrote here about the song was like it's a pretty decent collection of songs, some very cool like sounding guitar melodies, like very 60s vibe songs like Heroin and There She Goes Again. And I get praise like the experimentation, like unusual instrumentation, weird hissing dissonance, and the incorporation of like Nico.
Different styles, different genres.
As well as the controversial lyrics too, that had not been explored. It's sort of like
that's why I think it stands out from everything from that era.
I guess it gave like people like the incentive to just write about anything they want because you don't be afraid of expressing yourself. I've got a thing, like I said, there's a couple of filler tracks, namely I'll Be Honoured and the Black Angels Death song, which starts to bring my rating down to an overall 8 out of 10.
I think that's a suitable rating for this album.
Would you give it an 8 out of 10 as well?
I would, yeah.
My brother.
Indeed.
So we'll go for a unanimous 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Dude, we need cards with 8s. We need to hold up to try 8.
Well, like it's the Olympics or something.
That's an idea for next bit.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I've suggested something.
And so, here's the album, here's the banana, here's the small text which says Peel here, Andy Warhol.
I'm actually in this shop.
I know.
Like, because you usually sit over there, like I'm sat over here.
There's
Hi!
and so we've got some text there. On the back we've got the track listing where before there was this on the back, which
Controversial back cover which featured
you can talk about this.
actor by the name of Eric Emerson. He had unauthorised use of his face.
Indeed, but they plastered over it instead.
It's like a black, because like the label like recalled copies of like that artwork, but basically, you know, copies that had already been like issued, dude. Like
the Peel Here ones.
to place like a black label over his face. It was restored for the 1996.
And so here's the 45th anniversary style of the disc, also featuring the pink banana, which would have been on the original front cover.
HMV is very archaic music. It only stocks like the latest issues of CDs and retro.
Okay, so we got that. There's the back cover featuring all 5 of the people on the album, and so we've got this. It's got on the 6 discs that are re-released. They've got like pink, white, and yellow albums, and so.
I tell you what, you do a much better description of that.
And then we've got like all of like the lyrics and stuff. Pink, got the white, the pink. Aerosmith.
Loving an elevator.
More lyrics and stuff like that. And then just some more shots in the band with some thanks and whatever went into making the album. Back to back.
And here we go, everyone, the moment that we love the most, which I believe I said in last week's video, and I always get anxious when we do this video. It's so exciting and exhilarating to see which album we're reviewing for week 4 next week of our brand new albums, Classics from the Crypt Opening the Vaults review series.
Indeed.
Which is sort of unprecedented on YouTube, seeing as and hopefully I might get to do it. I haven't done anything.
No, I'm just. Yeah.
And I see you shuffling around with that, and I think this series is unprecedented amongst the other YouTubers. I don't see any other series called Classics from the Crypt.
Don't see any other series I go to the length that ours do, but you know, it just happens.
Because we're very unique, and even if we did like a similar name product copyrights anyway, so it is time.
We do apologise for the length that these videos go to. We just get really into the reviewing.
Hopefully this won't be as long, and here we go.
It's gonna be fun.
Oh, it's gonna be the coolest moment of all time. Oh my word! What's it gonna be for next week?
Okay, I've got one.
What's it gonna be for next week, dude?
Let's have a look.
Oh wow, that is going to be some
Script.
journey of.
I have no knowledge on this album.
See how I feel last week, dude. See how I feel last week. So I think this just about closes mine and Charito's claimed brand new series, declared a review brand new series classics from the Crypt Opening the Vault.
I want to redraw.
Ooh, can't know them back on now, dude. And hopefully you've all enjoyed it. So until next time, I've been Jonny Middleton.
And I've been Travis Moore.
Stay safe, stay strong. Thank you for watching our video. And again, massive thanks for all the support for Wednesday. And so until then, stay safe, stay strong. Forever peace and much love. You all know it.